Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
I'm Ann Emanuel. Thank you for joining us. A house fire in Elmira has shocked residents. It happened Saturday night and it claimed 2 lives. Big Fox's Maggie Hall joins us from the scene.
This is Maggie Hall with WYDC Big Fox Corning, Elmira. I'm currently outside of 360 West 4th Street when tragically Saturday night 2 Elmira residents lost their lives in a fire. I spoke to 2 neighbors and onlookers who declined to be on camera but commented that they had watched the bodies being carried out and that the whole thing is shocking and horrific. While WYDC was on the scene of 360 West 4th Street, we were able to witness Elmira Code Enforcement making sure the property was locked and secure. Elmira Animal Control was also on the scene, ensuring the safety of the couple's 2 cats that were left unscathed by the blaze stays secure. Fire Marshal Keys of the Elmira Fire Department commented that the investigation is still ongoing and that while at this time they are not releasing the names of the 2 victims, that their family and next of kin has been notified. With the cause of the fire still unknown and the investigation ongoing, we at Big Fox offer our condolences to those affected by this tragic blaze. This is Maggie Hall with WYDC Big Fox News.
Blastfest 2022 went off without a hitch. Big Fox spoke with Gaffer District Executive Director Colleen Fabrizi to hear what she thought about the turnout and the fun now that Blastfest is over.
We're delighted with the turnout for this past weekend's Blastfest event. It is the first full in-person event that we have had at this size since the pandemic began in March of 2020. People looked like they were shopping and enjoying every aspect of the weekend. Because it's a free event, there's no way for us to tell you the number of people. Let's just say it was very, very busy, with the exception of the little raindrop issue Saturday morning. But as soon as the clouds cleared, the people came out in droves.
Although monkeypox typically spreads among animals, it can infect people and spread through close contact, like by touching an infected person's blood, saliva, or bed sheets. And as monkeypox cases continue spreading outside of Africa, where it's now an endemic, the World Health Organization is trying to calm global fears. Chris Demio has more on that, plus why the WHO says the virus is unlikely to become a pandemic.
The last thing anyone wants is talks of another possible pandemic. But after more than 2 years of living with COVID-19, a global rise in monkeypox cases is stoking some fears, prompting the World Health Organization to try and alleviate concerns.
At the moment, we are not concerned of a global pandemic.
So far, the WHO is reporting more than 300 confirmed and suspected cases of the virus in more than 20 countries, an unusual trend considering monkeypox is commonly found in Central and Western Africa and not highly linked to travel. Because monkeypox is similar to the virus that causes smallpox, global health professionals say a vaccine exists, but
we are concerned that because the global population is not immune to orthopox viruses since the end of smallpox eradication, that the virus may attempt to exploit a niche and spread more easily between people.
Monkeypox is known to cause flu-like symptoms and a rash on the skin, and while at least a dozen cases have been identified in the U.S., the risks of you contracting it are slim.
It's really only people who've got this very close contact with people who are infected that there's any risk at all. But it isn't terribly infectious in normal circumstances, so clusters of cases normally die out quite quickly just by themselves.
Monkeypox can prove fatal with a mortality rate of about 10 to 17%, usually affecting immune-compromised individuals. So far, among those new cases, no deaths have been reported. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
A solemn tribute ceremony in Lower Manhattan on Memorial Day. New York Governor Kathy Hochul commemorating 20 years since the formal end of recovery operations at Ground Zero. At a ceremony that included survivors, the governor said today was a day of honoring those who toiled at the site and later faced health consequences because of it.
It's an extraordinary reminder that as you go through the list of people who showed up unprompted, just showed up here to help restore and to heal and to bring us back together. The common denominator for most is they were New Yorkers, because it's in our DNA. When we get knocked down, we fight back and we come back. And we must never, ever forget that lesson.
Flowers were laid in honor of those who worked in the relief and recovery efforts. U.S. consumer confidence is lower while inflation remains high. The Conference Board saying that its consumer confidence index dropped to 106.4 this month. That's down from 108.6 in April. The Business Research Group's index is based on consumers' 6-month outlook for income, business, and labor market conditions. A bipartisan group of lawmakers meets today about gun control legislation and what would be possible to pass, as Americans, from President Biden on down, are calling for Congress to do something in the wake of last week's school shooting in Texas. Caroline Shively has more from Washington.
Today marks 1 week since 19 children and 2 teachers were shot to death at this elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. Over the weekend, protesters made it clear to President Biden they want action now. The president told the crowd, "We will," but on Monday admitted he doesn't have the power to outlaw assault weapons or strengthen background checks.
I can't dictate this stuff. I can do the things I've done, and any executive action I can take, I'll continue to take.
The power to change gun laws lies with Congress. The House is in recess this week, but the Judiciary Committee is set to hold an emergency hearing on Thursday to mark up new legislation. The package of 8 bills includes provisions to raise the buying age for semi-automatic rifles from 18 to 21 and to ban the sale or possession of new high-capacity ammunition magazines, although existing magazines would be grandfathered in. Past gun control measures passed in the House have died in the Senate, but the mood may be shifting since Uvalde.
This is a sign to us that we need to do a lot more than we have done in the past.
The Senate is also out on break, but a bipartisan group of senators is holding a virtual meeting today aimed at finding common ground on gun legislation that can pass both chambers. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Your complete forecast is next. Plus, having fun in the sun this summer may cost you big bucks. A look at the dramatic price increases in flights and hotels. Stay with us.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, from that sunshine creating that heat and humidity, we will use that heat and humidity and bring some storm chances. Now, through the overnight, we're expecting still some quieter weather. A few isolated showers or thunderstorms will be possible, especially as we head into tomorrow morning. But overall, our main threat is going to come into the evening hours, as much as the Elmira Corning area here is expected to see that slight risk. So now that slight risk, what that means for us is that we are going to see that damaging winds will be our main threat. Still some hail and heavy downpours leading to some ponding on the roadways can be in the mix as well as this line of storms moves through. Now, there is going to be some morning convection, so we talk about some morning thunderstorms possible, mainly for those off to the north and the eastern portions of New York, but a few of those could work through the Elmira Corning area. So keep that in mind, but really focus on our evening threat. That's when it's going to be during that evening commute time frames of just around sunset as well, where that line of storms could be pushing its way in and bringing some straight line winds that could cause for some wind damage. So do note that that's main threat, and then behind that, with those stronger winds, we are going to be pulling in those cooler temperatures, which means that we'll fall into those 60s, and then we are going to be pairing that with some shower activity, with a first chance coming after this frontal system on Thursday afternoon into Friday morning. So when it comes to rainfall accumulation, about 1/4 of an inch up to about 1/2 an inch overall. Really will be dependent on where some of those morning thunderstorms will be possible, as those storms will have a lot of moisture with it. So as you can see, even as you head more off to the east and the northeast, areas are nearing more of that 1/2 an inch, as Elmira and Corning are looking about that 1/4 of an inch possible. So rolling through that forecast, you see that more off to the north and the east here. Wednesday morning is where some of those showers and thunderstorms are. But then as we head into the afternoon, you'll watch those storms drop out of the Great Lakes and move across New York, as that's where we're going to have that threat for those stronger thunderstorms. You can see those higher reflectivities really develop there around 5 to 7 o'clock and then continue to push through that midnight time frame before we will start off Thursday morning on a quieter note, and then we'll bring in some showers as we head into the afternoon hours. So what temperature wise as we head into your Wednesday, though, still some warmth and heat there. You see that we have that development of still that southerly wind that can jump those temperatures into those 80s, nearly 10 degrees above average. Now that brings the instability needed to pop up those stronger thunderstorms. So that will be the prefrontal temperature trend, but then we are going to be dropping. We'll drop to about 58 when we head into Thursday morning, and then our high temperature will only climb to about 75. Now that's still on par for average, just a bit different than what we've been seeing over the last few days with these well above average temperatures. Now there will be some of those showers on Thursday afternoon into Friday morning. We keep those temperatures near average through about Saturday, as we will expect that sunshine to return for us. So a beautiful weekend overall, as we could expect to keep that sunshine even into your Sunday, allowing for high temperatures to climb to 77 degrees. And we'll keep some of that warming into your Monday, but then we will see a larger low pressure system move its way into the northeast and bring some shower activity as well as some cooler temperatures into early parts of next work week.
It's no secret that inflation is keeping the cost of goods and services high, but now travel experts say those high prices could keep you from having fun in the sun. Jackie Ibanez has more on the rising costs of flights, hotels, and more.
The forecast for summer vacations is looking bright.
People have been waiting to get out for the last 2 years.
According to consumer data company Value Penguin, roughly 73% of Americans have plans to travel this summer, up by 53% from last year. But while planning a trip usually involves spending some money, this year it's really going to cost you.
We're seeing really crazy prices for hotels, for rental cars, for flights.
AAA reports average hotel rates are up by 42% this year compared to last. And according to travel company Hopper, round-trip domestic flights are 45% higher, averaging more than $400. And the prices could continue to go sky high. Data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration shows the cost of jet fuel is double the price it was last year, averaging more than $3.50 per gallon.
If we didn't book the airfare a year in advance, we probably wouldn't be going on them.
Meanwhile, hitting the roads will still add some wear and tear to your wallet. AAA reports the average price for a gallon of gas is $4.62. But wherever your summer leads you, tourism experts say treat the people and places you go with respect and invest your money in local businesses.
You'll enjoy it more because you'll have a more authentic experience.
Also, if you're staying local for the summer, be sure to check out neighborhood pool and beach postings. But take note that cities across the country are warning that lifeguard shortages could impact your plans.
The national labor shortage means fun in the sun could be on hold at some locations. A number of important workers, from drivers to lifeguards to camp counselors, are staying away due to low pay. Demand for positions is double the rate of applicants, according to the Wall Street Journal. That is leaving businesses constantly short-staffed, even when new hires arrive. Businesses like camps and pools are reducing hours or shutting down operations entirely. A teen overseas wants to create a way for people to shop in the Metaverse. The 13-year-old Omar Whale, who lives in Egypt, is currently developing his own version of the Metaverse. Whale has a VR headset, a jacket, and wired gloves to access the virtual reality space, which makes the experience more realistic. Whale hopes shopping in the Metaverse will reduce traffic and help save the environment. He also wants to create a way for people to attend classes in the Metaverse. The now teen created his first robot when he was 9 years old. Very impressive. A new way to restrict who sees your tweets is slowly being rolled out to new users. Twitter is rolling out its Circle feature that allows users to send out tweets to a specific group of people. It's unclear how many users have access to Circle, but more and more people are seeing the feature pop up when they begin to create a tweet. Reports say the feature is still in testing across iOS, Android, and the World Wide Web. Military veterans battling PTSD are taking it one stride at a time with help from an unlikely source. Madison Scarpino is on a ranch in Casper, Wyoming, with how horse therapy is helping these veterans.
Being exposed to some of the trauma our troops experience can inevitably cause mental health problems, some minor, some severe. Here in Wyoming, there's a program that pairs up veterans and first responders with wild Mustangs. The Mustangs actually have PTSD and anxiety themselves, so it's healing for both the horse and the human.
When you are in a 24-foot by 24-foot pen, you really can't think of stuff that is outside of those railings.
Kelly Alexander and his wife Karen were inspired to start Operation Remount based on his personal experiences. Kelly served for over 20 years in Iraq and Afghanistan and has struggled with his mental health after retirement. From 2006 to 2021, the Department of Veterans Affairs saw that mental health needs increased about 98%. Kelly eventually found a program where he was matched up with a wild horse. Karen says it changed his world.
Working with the horses has brought him a new sense of purpose and has also provided him with some peace. So he wanted to provide this for others.
Seeing how it affects others in a positive manner is probably even better than when I felt that from my own personal experience.
Now, the program helps people like Army veteran Alicia Allen, who trained Afghan Army members to be medics.
Some of the things that I came across, seen, or had to encounter gave me severe anxiety, nightmares, depression. I had a hard time coming back and dealing with civilian life.
Same for former Air Force medic Audra Smith.
I wanted to come out here so I could keep working on myself and keep working on those anxieties and the mindfulness and all of that stuff.
The trust built between the human and the horse allows veterans to slow down and be in the moment.
They were pulled from their homes, just like veterans, when we leave the service, we're pulled from our herd, from our family. And so to be able to come here, they are kind of our herd again. They're our family. So
Operation Remount allows the veteran or first responder to keep the wild Mustang after the 6-week program is complete. The Alexanders hope to have up to 8 veterans or first responders on the ranch next year.
The FDA is investigating strawberries linked to a hepatitis A outbreak. The agency says the U.S. and Canada are currently looking into strawberries sold by the brands H-E-B and Fresh Campo. They're likely related to cases of hepatitis A. The FDA is advising people not to eat strawberries made by those brands and sold between March 5th and April 25th. Now, obviously, the shelf life is long gone, but maybe you might have some frozen. There have been at least 17 hepatitis A cases in the U.S. and 10 in Canada. The FDA has a warning about a dangerous TikTok trend involving avocados. TikTok users are storing already cut avocados in water to keep them from going brown. But the Food and Drug Administration says keeping this method is risky as it opens a gateway for bacterial contamination. The agency and doctors are urging people to store avocados on a dry surface. The FDA says bacteria like Salmonella can be on the avocado surface and can expand if stored in water, causing fever, nausea, and diarrhea. A recent study says elderly adults who live at home might have better health than those living in nursing facilities. Researchers from the University of Missouri found seniors living in their homes might have a longer lifespan than those in assisted living spaces. The analysts studied 8 years of data from the elderly living facility Tiger Place, which provides its seniors with individual living spaces and other assistance. Researchers also found that elders who could be independent and socialize with others had better mental and physical well-being than those who didn't. Meat prices are still on the rise, surpassing record highs as the unofficial start of summer begins. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the cost of meat rose 0.7% between March and April. The USDA says the price of chicken breast and ground beef have increased more than 20% per pound over the last year. Other products such as tomatoes, hot dogs, cheese, and lettuce are also more expensive. The sky-high prices are due to levels of inflation weighing on Americans in recent months. Well, we want to leave you with a smile. A beloved bookstore cat is retiring from his day job. For 14 years, the main cat character at Loganberry Books in Shaker Heights, Ohio, was Otis. The feline has been a star employee, greeting visitors as they came into the store. But now the cat is clocking out, getting ready for a well-deserved retirement. Although fans of Otis may miss the original star of the shop, Logan Berry has hired a new cat to fill his position. Otis's little sister Alice will be stepping into the job. From our whole team, thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your day.